Today I'm out here on this 2025 Honda CB1000 SP. Fun fact, it's the only model we got here in the US because we suck. Just kidding. I have never ridden this bike before, guys, but after today's ride, I should have a much better idea of what this thing's all about. You guys stick to the end of the video. I'll give it a chase score and we'll see how it goes out on the leaderboard. I am Chaseontwowheels and I am on a first ride. Rain mode. No, sir. It's an inline-four. What did you want me to do? You either love it or you hate it, but you know what everybody's gonna love? Grabbing a cardo for your helmet, amazing sounding audio, talk crap with your buddies, discount code there. What else do we need, ladies and gentlemen? Not a single thing is the answer. All right, my friends, that's what it looks like, and that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get on this inline-four beast, we get to thank the sponsor of this video, which is my favorite phone mount, which is Quad Lock. If you guys have never heard of Quad Lock, please get out from under such a big boulder. My God, that's dangerous for your health. Anyway, guys, Quad Lock is the absolute peak S-tier phone mounting system for motorcycles. Here on the CB1000, we've got the handlebar clamp where I've got just a little makeshift clamp because I don't have a book bag today, but I could fit this in my pocket. So we've got that going into the articulating arm. That articulating arm allows me to loosen it up and kind of rotate it wherever I want. I've found doing these first rides, because when we do the 40 to 80 pull, you guys want a clear view of the dash, obviously. So that arm allows me to put the phone over here while I'm riding for you guys. And then when I get done filming, I can move the phone back towards the middle, which is where I would want it as the rider. So I really like the little articulating arm, especially for these little first ride situations. That's going to go into the vibration damper. That's just going to help the vibrations from the motorcycle not translate to your phone's camera and mess that up. And of course, at the top, we have the locking mechanism from Quad Lock. That matches in with the mag case that I have my phone in here. You put your phone here, rotate a little bit, you'll feel it pop in, rotate it sideways, and bro, that thing is not going anywhere. Unfortunately, I've had to test Quad Locks in multiple wrecks and thousands upon thousands of miles on every motorcycle I ride. I literally can't ride without Quad Locks. It's fantastic to have your maps on your phone. You can mess with your music while you're stopped, of course. It allows you to do a ton of stuff and have access to your phone while you ride. I love it, and I've been using them for absolutely years. They're a fantastic supporter of the channel. So if you guys like what we're doing and you're looking for a phone mount, I would not trust anything other than Quad Lock. If you guys want a discount, we got a discount right there. Quad Lock, thank you for being a phenomenal partner to the channel. And with all that being said, we have an inline-four motorcycle to ride. I'm going to go ahead and sit on it before this black seat becomes baked by this very serious sun. Guys, it's I feel like it's been a minute since I rode an inline-four. I don't know why, but I feel like I've been on a lot of parallel twins lately, which, trust me, I'm not complaining about. We'll turn the key on, and while that bike is cycling on, guys, I'm 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and I have bent legs and flat feet on the ground. This is going to be a phenomenal situation for a lot of you shorter riders, because I know a lot of you guys are shorter, but you really like the aggressive motorcycles. This is definitely a, inline-four screaming motorcycle. You're going to be able to get your feet on the ground, so I'm very happy to see that. The main reason I think for that is because of how thin the seat is up at the front. My legs kind of fit really well to the ground, so that's pretty awesome. We'll get it cranked up here. So you guys can see the little mode here. That's the fast mode. If we hit this mode button, we're going to go from rain to user 1 to user 2. We've got standard and we've got sport. Now you guys should probably know how this game works. I'm going to start out in rain mode, and then I'm going to go to standard, and then I'll go to sport before I get to the highway. The user modes, there's 2 of them. Those are totally user customizable, so there's no real point in me talking about those, because you can change them to whatever the hell you want. I think with all that being said, I'm going to zip my pocket up and we can head out of here. By the way, if you guys do not like ads on these videos, trust me, I hate putting them on here, but they allow us to give you guys this high quality content here on YouTube. If you don't like those though, for only $1 a month, you guys can get all of our first rides ad free. We take all the ads out for you and it only costs you guys $1. It's basically nothing to you guys. I'm sure y'all could find that in your dang couch. But if enough of y'all get on that, it really helps the channel out. And of course, if you don't want to pay anything, we have our email list, our On2 crew. So if you guys want to get email updates about what videos go live, that way you don't got to worry about YouTube letting you know. You'll never miss anything. Join the On2 crew. It's totally free and it's a good time. We only email you once a week. Alrighty, my friends, let's get this first ride started. This is a segment of motorcycles that are near and dear to my heart. I love the higher horsepower naked, so the CB1000 has a lot, Hornet SP has a lot to live up to, but it's the first ride, guys. Let's talk about the body position on the bike. So I'm really surprised by my leg position. My feet are basically right up under me, and they're not really tucked up as much as I thought, or maybe I was expecting them to be. It's actually a relatively nice body position from the lower half. The seat, I will say, is nice and wide, but it is a little on the harder side. It's just not as cushy as it otherwise could be. And then my upper half is leaned over a bit, and I feel like the bars are pretty close to me. Overall, I really, you know, I wish the seat was a little more comfortable, but other than that, I really like the body position I'm in to be maybe a little more aggressive on this bike, but still maintain that comfort that we want out of a naked bike. So overall, super happy with the body position. As we slow down here, let's hit that mode button and go into, what's the next mode? Standard. I didn't expect a ton out of rain mode, but rain mode really cuts the power down. And down low, I'm still not feeling a ton of it in standard mode, but that could be the fact that it's an inline-four. Speaking of the engine type, let's talk about what's powering this thing. It's Honda's 998cc inline-four. This thing's good for around 129 horsepower, 79 foot-pounds of torque. The bike's going to come in at a weight of, I think, 465 pounds, and it has a 5.4 gallon gas tank. I believe so. I'll have stats on the screen if I am incorrect. So let's watch all this traffic because there seems to be a lot of it. Yeah, so guys, let's talk about city performance on the CB1000 Hornet SP. So unlike a lot of the bikes in its class, this bike is a traditional inline-four. It wants you to really rev it out, to start grabbing at some of that power that it has. And I think you're gonna notice that if you're coming from something else in its class, maybe the MT10 or something like that. I'm saying MT10 specifically because I own an MT10 and I have the most experience on an MT10. But the inline-four style power plant is very interesting for a naked motorcycle. You basically have to ride it entirely differently. Now, what I mean by riding it totally differently is, I give an example, the CB750 Hornet, this thing's little brother, parallel twin, very punchy power. You have to be revving the bike none at all, and it will just jump you into the future. Whereas this, if you guys can tell, the bike's not going to throw you back instantly. It's not going to give you that thrilling torque feel. It's going to give you that build up into the power as the revs get higher. So if you want this motorcycle to have that punchy power, you are going to have to ride it at a little bit higher of a gear. I'm in second gear, going about 5,000 RPM, and I'm getting close now at that RPM to having that punchy power, but it's not up until I'm, you know, at 5,000 RPM. So you kind of have to work for that power, and there are situations where you're riding on the street where you might be in the wrong gear. You might be lugging it in too high of a gear, and you're way out of the power band, and you're not going to have that little punchy power. So what you're going to find yourself doing is you're not going to be able to, as quickly and carefree, be in whatever gear you want if you want to have quick power at your fingertips. I will say the foot peg position is really nice for getting your feet to the ground, deploying the landing pads as it were. If it was really tucked up and real sporty, it would kind of be cumbersome to get your legs out, but not the problem at all, which is good for a naked bike that, you know, will more than likely be ridden around the city quite a bit. It is so weird riding an inline-four naked bike. My brain just has a hard time comprehending how the bike wants to be ridden. Also, that suspension is pretty hard. I'm feeling every single bump, but it's adjustable. You can adjust it. I imagine that firmer suspension is going to be really nice if you're in more aggressive positions. Let's get her leaned over a little bit and not run into the bus. There's that, yeah. That inline power is there, but when you're in town, it is a sneaky little devil. It's hard to find. I am so bad about leaving my blinkers on with this thing. Holy crap. I gotta say, guys, the power is not really as exciting as I'm kind of used to here in the city. You know, having to work for it and not having it at my fingertips, I guess I'm just so used to the parallel twins being able to be punchy and fun here in the city, and the inline-four is just not really doing it for me. It's fine and has enough power to do what I need to do around town, but I don't know, it's just not that like thrilling here in the city. But I guess, I mean, for my people that have been riding for a while, nobody's going to be shocked by that. It's going to be like, bro, it's an inline-four, no dub. So I'm saying that and verbalizing it for my maybe newer people that aren't super familiar with engine styles and stuff like that. But I don't think you're gonna be that excited in the city. That being said, for an inline-four, it's super smooth down low, and if you're just casually riding around, you're gonna be very content. I will say, in standard mode, the engine braking is rather strong. Sorry, that car on the right did not trust them at all. Yeah, a little stronger on the engine braking than I would have kind of expected for standard mode. So it almost feels like it's more powerful engine braking than it is in like power delivery, which is kind of strange. Now see this, I don't understand the throttle delivery on this thing. It's so weird. You let off that throttle though, watch the engine braking. Literally throws me forward. That's fascinating. You can obviously tune that in the settings if you want. You can jump into user 1 and 2. You know what, while we have a second, let's get this thing into sport mode. Boom. I love the little dude with the air behind him. I just think that's hilarious for sport mode. And then the rain mode guy has rain coming down on him, so it's like, oh no. Let's see what the engine braking feels like now. Definitely feels lighter for sure. Not too much. Jesus Christ. My God, that throttle is on and off, dude. There is a significant... Is the truck coming in this lane? Do we know? I don't know. I don't trust anybody. I'm not trusting cars today, dude. I am not trusting a single one of them. All right, very on and off throttle here, especially in sport mode. My goodness. We're going to have to be careful here, but I imagine this 40 to 80 pull is going to be relatively decent. I think getting the bike up to 40 miles an hour, probably going to stick it in first gear. I think we'll be able to do something and get a pretty decent time here. We'll have to see. Blinker, or as my wife says, blinker police. Just ever riding in the car with me and I'm coming up to a turn and don't have my blinker on. She always says blinker police. It's hilarious. Drop a comment if your wife does the same thing. If your wife is the blinker police at home. All right, my friends, let's find out how fast this thing will go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour. Hopefully without pissing anybody off. Oh yeah, look at that. First gear, 40s at 6,000 RPM. Oh, I gotta be careful with this. All right, guys, on your mark. Get set, go. Wheels coming up. There's, Jesus. That was a quick one, boys. That was a quick one. Wheel came up in first, wheel came back up in second. I told you this thing was not going to mess around. What was the freaking time on that? It better have been good. Alrighty, guys, we're here on the highway with the CB1000 Hornet. And, man, if an inline-four likes living in any place on the road, it is the highway. You can finally rev the thing out and ride it like it wants to be ridden. It is so happy here. I will say, in 6th gear going 80, you're still gonna have to feed up the RPMs to get some fun power behind it. But yeah, you just gotta be careful on the highway here, man. This thing wants to go faster and faster and faster. So, as far as stability here on the highway, in 6th gear going 75, This thing is planted and there is barely any vibrations going on. This thing would rival the comfort of a touring bike with how little vibrations there are right now. That is shocking almost. Power-wise, we're good. We do have a more simple motorcycle, no 6-axis IMU, no craziness like that. We do not have cruise control, so you are stuck here on the highway holding your throttle open. I will say the throttle is relatively light to sit here and hold open. It doesn't take a lot of energy, so no real problems there. I don't feel like I'm getting blown around at all. And going back and forth, the bike still has a ton of maneuverability here on the highway. Really surprised with that. Now, it is a naked. This dash is the most wind protection we have on the entire motorcycle. There is no wind protection. I can literally feel it on my lower ab area. So you are getting full wind. If you're going to ride this motorcycle, I would recommend maybe looking into a more race-focused helmet so your helmet can cut through the wind really easily, because if you have a helmet that doesn't have really good aerodynamics, you are definitely going to be feeling it with all the wind you're going to have on your head. Overall, for a naked motorcycle, this thing kind of loves the highway more than it really needs to. The power loves it. The comfort is here. I don't know, man. I could stay on the highway for a hot minute. If I had a windscreen and some cruise control, it wouldn't be a bad time. I'll put it that way. So yeah, nice job, Honda. Nice job making a naked bike really decent on a place that it really has no right to be decent at. I'm gonna start slowing down early here, guys. It looks like we got a giant garbage truck up ahead of us, and I want to be able to enjoy the turn I'm about to go through. All right, what gear we need to be in? We'll be in 4th. That'll keep us safe. All right, show a big piston front fork. We got a fully adjustable Öhlins rear shock. And yeah, same thing. This motorcycle just acts like it's a super sport hidden in a naked bike platform is all this thing feels like. Honda just hid a CBR1000 inside of a naked platform, and they're like, maybe nobody will notice. No, Honda, we will all notice. Honestly, thinking through how to describe this bike, guys, that is the best way I know to describe it. Honda tried to hide a CBR1000 in a naked bike, and that's what we have right here. Man, that big truck with all the chips in the back, that is a vehicle I do not want to be behind. Oh my goodness gracious. Excuse me, truck, excuse me, excuse me. Oh, how do I get around that thing? I do not want wood chips to be attacking me like Final Destination. So guys, I have got to give props to Honda for this suspension. Leaning this thing over, it feels like it is at home. You lean the bike over, it's super simple to get leaned over, even though it's a naked bike. And that suspension just feels locked the moment it gets over. Phenomenal job there. The only thing I would say to be cautious about with this bike is when you get it in sport mode, the very initial throttle has a very abrupt hit that you're going to feel, and I can show you guys. So off throttle, and it's not like it's got a lot of torque right there, it's just like the power skips 0 to 10%. And when you go from off throttle to on, you skip straight to 10%, and it just kind of upsets the whole situation. That's in a straight line. I would not want to be going on throttle in a mid-turn on this motorcycle. The other thing I want to really give Honda props on is the quick shifter. That quick shifter feels fantastic. You get a little bit of a hit, it pops you into the next gear. There's no real power drop at any point. They did a really good job designing that, and that's the same for the going down as well. It's an up and down quick shifter. I really like it on this bike. If I was gonna be like real critical, I would almost want a little more of a hit, just to, you know, make sure in my head that I know I shifted into the next gear. But overall, if I owned this bike, I would not complain about that whatsoever. As far as how you ride this thing in the revs, you are very much buying a motorcycle that you have to ride like an inline-four super sport. That power is 100% there. You just got to get up to it, and that's in every gear, which on some parts is kind of nice because it makes you work for it, so it's not going to surprise you like a parallel twin, but you also have to work for it. Let's try the brakes out. Brembo brakes doing their job, absolutely. The Brembo brakes give you a really good bite up front, And I was watching the press launch video of this bike that we did. I sent my buddy Joe Jackson to, and he was criticizing this bike, the brakes, in saying they've got Brembos and it has a good initial bite, but then you lose a lot of the feeling like after that initiation of the brakes, because they don't have steel braided lines. And I do think I agree with that. The brakes become a little just strong and muddled after the initial bite. So for a motorcycle that has really nice feeling suspension, an inline-four that kind of puts you mentally into a sport riding mindset, I kind of would like to have steel braided lines. But that being said, this bike is coming in at an MSRP of $10,999, so right at $11,000, which undercuts a lot of its rivals. So, you know, will most of the purchasers of this motorcycle care? I don't know. For the more sporty guys, I do think they will care about those brake lines. All right, guys, let's talk about the controls up here. We are looking at the more new-aged Honda controls. We've got this minimized little D-pad situation here, mode button, flashers, horn, blinkers, and then we have our flashers right here, like I said. Then we have our hazards and our crank switch over here. No problem with the buttons. I really like this new simplified layout with Honda. I think everything does a good job. I do have a little bit of a hard time finding the blinkers sometimes, and the horn is really recessed, so it would be kind of hard to initiate it. Unless you owned it, you probably get used to all that. And then we have this new, I think it's 5-inch TFT display. And my comments on this are the exact same as they were on the CB750 Hornet. I'll put that video link here on the video if you guys want to check it out. But this screen does a really good job of making it very simple to figure out, even if you have no idea how to do it. And I love the combination of that screen and this D-pad. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the design of the screen. It's kind of, the way I originally described it was, it looks like an engineer did the art design for the screen. It does its job, absolutely. It's just not the prettiest thing to look at. I know some of you guys couldn't care less about it. I care a little bit about it. I like, if I'm gonna sit here and look at it, I wanna have a pretty screen to look at. But overall, I don't think I would complain generally about it. Let's hit the mirrors real quick. The mirrors are decent. My body takes up about 50 to 60%. So, you know, if you wanna, you can probably adjust them to make it a little better for you, but they're okay. I wouldn't really rant and rave about how nice they are. My God. Oh, we didn't even touch the levers. I'm gonna make sure the BMW or the Mercedes doesn't pull out on me. They didn't. We love it. Levers. We do have adjustable levers. They have a really good pull. A little stronger pull on the brakes. Clutch has felt good. Hadn't really had to use them clutch much with the oh my God, quick shifter. Whoo! Ran out of mental for a second. Please don't go. My God. Man, can y'all tell I don't trust cars today? Jesus Christ. Let's go to the chase score and see how this thing lands on the leaderboard before I keep being freaked out by cars.
Alright guys, so let's knock out the chase score for the 2025 Honda CB1000 Hornet SP. First up, for throttle response, I'm going to give it a 5. It's smooth at that low RPM, but just too abrupt and on-off in sport mode. For agility, I'm going to give this thing a 7. Tips in easily and feels pretty planted once leaned over. For brakes, I'm going to give it a 6. That's got that strong initial bite, but the feeling fades without those braided lines. For acceleration, I'm going to give this thing an 8. It rips when revved. That 40 to 80 pull is legitimately quick. Now for suspension, I'm going to give it an 8. It's firm, it's adjustable, and it's locked in when you're pushing it. For comfort, I'm going to give it a 6. It's got those upright ergos and low vibes, but firm seat and full wind blasts. For tech, I'm going to give it a 6. It's got that TFT, it's got modes and the quick shifter, but it's missing an IMU, and without cruise control, it's holding it back. For ease of use, I'm going to give it a 6. It's got that low, narrow seat and simple controls with that twitchy initial throttle. Overall, not bad. For versatility, I'm also going to give it a 6. It's calm when you short shift it and sporty when you rev it, but it's limited for touring. Now, for fun for the money, I'm going to give this thing an 8. At a price tag of $10,999, it's undercutting all of its rivals while still feeling special. That's going to give a total ride score of 34 and a total usability score of 32, giving a total chase score of 66.
All right, guys, that's the chase score for the 2025 Honda CB1000 Hornet SP. Guys, while I was doing the vertical content that I filmed in the parking lot, On the press launch video, my buddy Joe said that he noticed that if he put it in rain mode, it helped out with that initial hit of throttle. And I can absolutely confirm, when this thing's in rain mode, it smooths it out. It doesn't make it go away, but it definitely smooths it out. The problem is I'm now in rain mode. I don't get all the fun power. It's just that initial throttle that's been solved. So I don't love that. And for a motorcycle that you are really gonna, you know, after riding this thing around, this is not a bike that you're gonna be content kind of just puttering around town. You want to get on this thing and it's going to incentivize you to make you want to go quick. You guys are going to have to be very careful with the throttle. You really need to be cautious of how much percentage you're giving and when, and if that's going to disrupt your position or the chassis or something. Because of that, when I'm looking at who I would recommend this bike to, that is going to make me kind of push it to the more experienced rider crowd. I wouldn't say, like, you know, if you're a medium level rider, just get it and put it in rain mode. You could do that, but I have a feeling this bike's gonna make you itch to want more than that, and that's gonna lead you to probably put it in the modes that you don't have any business being in. So a little more of a higher experience level is what I would suggest for this bike. It just has so many things going for it. It has a phenomenal suspension, a great body position that allows you to be aggressive if you want to, but also is totally comfortable being around town. And what this kind of ends up being is if you like riding sporty, but you want to be super chill in the city, this is kind of a do-it-all motorcycle. You've got the upright body position, the comfortable, you know, position you're in. You put this in rain mode, or hell, you don't even have to put it in rain mode, and it's very chill power-wise in the city. And then it only wakes the beast up once you get the revs up, which is when you're riding the technical roads or the track day or on the highway. So it's kind of like two bikes in one, really, if we look at it like that. So it's kind of interesting. All in all, I love that this is an option in the market, because so many of the higher horsepower leader bikes, I do really love the fact that this is an option in the market, though, because all have that real punchy power. You don't have a ton of the inline-four, so I think I like that this thing is here. I love the looks of it, and I think Honda's going in a awesome direction with this thing. If you guys enjoyed this video, as always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you like motorcycle content, and we have a link for all of the first rides in the description down below if you guys want to check out other first rides we've done. Big shout out to Honda America for letting us loan this motorcycle. We love you guys a long time. I'm Chaseontwowheels, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later. Honda, you're not fooling me. I see the CBR1000 that's inside of here. You can't hide that kind of thing from me. You might think you're slick. Let me tell you, not. Also, that's a compliment. If nobody's clear, that's absolutely a compliment.